Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a desk full of some very random drugstore makeup products. I've been compiling these actually for a little over a week now. A couple pretty new releases. There's a hyped up mascara in here that I'm excited to give a try and a really interesting little eyeshadow palette that I think looks really pretty. We'll see how it performs. It's always fun to play with drugstore makeup, so I hope that you guys are excited about it. If you are new here, special welcome to you. I hope that you enjoy this video. If you do, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And for all of you that do enjoy this one, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. With that said, let's get to it. All right, let's get this hair pulled back and get to work. So I do have foundation on, I have concealer on, and I have bronzer on. For my foundation today, I'm wearing a mix of my Misha BB Cream number 27 and the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. Pretty good little combination. For concealer, I'm wearing one that I'm a big fan of, the Wet n Wild Incognito Concealer. Side note, would you guys like to see a concealer ranking video? I've been trying out a lot of new concealers recently. Maybe I can do like a updated ranking video on my concealers. That could be interesting. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. And then for my bronzer, I'm wearing the Flower Beauty Sunrise Bronzer. But that's as far as I got because I did get a new highlighter and blush that we'll be trying out today. Why don't we do that first? Why don't we finish off with the face first? So I was in my drugstore this morning. I wanted to pick up a new lipstick and also a new cheek product. Preferably something that was kind of creamy, like a cream cheek product. Unfortunately, I don't have an Ulta close by me. My options are Walgreens and Walmart. Those are the only two options that I have if I don't want to drive more than 20 minutes. But as I was walking down the aisle, I saw this little thing right here. I assumed that this was a cream cheek stick because it is quite large, but it's actually a lip balm. So I thought to myself, that could definitely work. But as I was getting all my stuff out for this video, I noticed that it says it's plumping. I'm not sure how that's going to work on the cheeks, but since I don't really have anything else to try, I think we're going to just go for it and hope that, I don't know, it doesn't give me like some sort of reaction on my cheeks. So here's a quick little swatch of it. Not super pigmented. Very nice and creamy and glossy. We're gonna give it a try. I don't know that this is gonna work out well, but that's okay. Actually, before I do that, let me try it out on my lips. I maybe should have got a darker color since these are so sheer. Oh, that's pretty. Super pretty on the lips. I don't think I even told you guys. This is from the brand Hard Candy, which is a brand that I often overlook at the drugstore. They kind of just blend right into Revlon. I kind of forget that they're even there sometimes. In years past, they've had some products that I've been a huge fan of, but they've completely revamped a whole lot of their things, and a lot of the things that I used to love, they no longer offer anymore. And for some reason, I just haven't given them much of a chance since. So I am starting to feel a little bit of tingling in my lips. Oh boy, should we do it? Let's just do it. Maybe it will plump up my cheeks. I feel like that wouldn't be a bad thing. Would it? So I put quite a bit on this brush right here. This is just kind of a stippling brush from Moda. This one's, I think it's meant to be a highlighter brush, but I love it for liquid and cream blushes, especially like blush sticks. Okay, this is very dewy. Okay, that is beautiful. As long as my lips don't start tingling, I could totally get behind wearing this on my cheeks on a regular basis. So far it looks really pretty. I don't know if this is going to be super long wearing because it is quite balmy and glossy, but it looks really beautiful on the cheeks, and I'm still loving how it looks on my lips. No tingle yet. I'll keep you guys posted. If I start to feel a tingle, who knows, maybe something amazing will happen and I'll start a trend of tingly cheek products, like a natural cheek filler. All right, let's move into highlighter. So I picked up this from NYX. This is from the Born to Glow line. This was in a little display at the end of the aisle. None of the things in that display had a price tag on them, so I knew going into this that I was risking this might be a little pricey. NYX is one of those brands that I often watch out for, or am leery of, or kind of steer clear of, because sometimes their products can be very highly priced. And I was right. As they were running this through the checkout aisle, I noticed it rang up at $11.97. I literally cringed. I almost considered putting it back. That's pretty pricey. $10 is kind of my mark where I'm comfortable. I can spend $10 on a mediocre packaging drugstore highlighter, but $11.97, especially at Walmart where things are generally a little bit cheaper, I think is way up there. So it already has a strike against it for that, but I'm going to give it a chance. So this is a duo. It does have a kind of more standard highlight, and then this one right here looks like more of a detail highlight, something a little more sparkly. Let's go ahead and swatch them both on the back of my hand. Okay, this one feels pretty nice. Maybe I should be nice and give it a chance and not hold the price tag too against it. All right, there it is right there. Quite pigmented, a very nice kind of peachy pink. I would say if you have really fair skin, and I believe this was the lightest one they had, at least on the display at my drugstore, but that could be a little dark on you if you have very fair skin. As I turn it to the side, kind of see how it gets a little bit ashy. Hopefully that will work on me. By the way, that was the side that's not quite as glittery. Let's go ahead and swatch the one that's a little bit more shimmery, a little bit more glittery. This is really soft. Okay, yeah, this is very glittery. Not the type of highlighter I often use. Probably beautiful on the eyes. Really pretty color. I actually like the color of this one even a little bit better. It's not quite as, that's kind of a gray undertone to it. It reminds me a little bit of the Milk highlighter, the Milk Flex highlighter in the shade Lit. Let's just swatch those two side by side. I do love this highlighter, but I have to be careful when I use it because it can be, oh my gosh. Would you look at that? Dupe alert. These two are almost identical. Actually, I think this one has a little bit more peach in it. Okay, false alarm. Almost a dupe. Almost a dupe alert. So let's give this a try. I'm going to start off by going into the one that's not quite as glittery. The traditional highlighter. What would you call that? I can't think of the word. I almost want to say satiny, but it's not satiny. It's shimmery. It's just not quite as glittery and chunky. Okay, that's really pretty. $11.97 pretty. I don't know about that. I'm so intolerant with drugstore prices. I realize I've got some highlighters sitting in my drawer that cost me like $30, $40. I'm okay with those, but for some reason, when you just get this cheap packaging and you're at the drugstore, I just expect things to be cheaper. Cheaper than $11.97. That's it. I'll drop it. So that one alone is pretty shimmery. Should we try out the really glittery one? I have a feeling it's going to emphasize quite a bit of texture, but I guess I don't know that for sure unless I try it. So let's go ahead and try it and just see what it does. I'm going to take that same brush and we're going to go in just on the tip of my brush to the glittery portion right here. By the way, this one is in the shade 02 Platinum Status and Diamond Chains. I'm assuming this is Platinum Status, that's Diamond Chains. Okay. It is very glittery. You can see glitter particles, and I'm pretty far away from my mirror. I can see the glitter particles right there. But if you don't mind glitter on your cheeks, if you're one to put glitter on your cheeks, especially for maybe a special occasion, it is beautiful. It just is a little more glittery than I typically like. Okay, I feel like the cheeks look pretty. Let's move into brows. So I have a really interesting brow product. I got this from the e.l.f. and Jen Atkin line. This is just a clear brow gel. It has a very, very interesting brush on it. I don't know that I'd call this a brush. It's almost like a, this reminds me of something. It's kind of like a, it actually reminds me of like a hairbrush that's really tiny, like a Barbie brush. It's basically flat on one side. I'll insert a close-up for you guys right here, but it's flat on one side and then it has just these really soft plastic bristles on one side. Looks very interesting. So I want to start off first by going in and just brushing up my brows and just adding a little bit of my, excuse me, Ulta Beauty brow pencil. This one is in the shade Ash Taupe. All right, now let's take the brow gel. I actually ordered this when I was on the e.l.f. website a few weeks ago. I was meaning to order her palette. I think she has these eye and face or eye and cheek palettes. She had two different shades, a lighter version and then a medium to deep version, but all the light ones were out of stock. So I ended up just going with this. I thought it looked interesting. I'm a big fan of e.l.f. products in general, and I like quite a few of their brow products. So I thought this would be fun to try out and compare to their cheap $2 brow gel, the one that's double-ended. I actually like that one. It's not super long wearing, doesn't hold all day long, but it does a pretty good job for a good 6 or 7 hours. But it is doing a good job of keeping my brows upright, like making them stand to attention, which I'm a fan of. We'll see how it wears. I feel like I'm going to need more time with this one. I'll try and keep you guys updated, but yeah, I like that so far. All right, let's move into the eyes. So I found this little palette as I was walking through my drugstore. It is from Revlon. It is their Revlon So Fierce Slight Flex Eyeshadow Quad. Look at the print on these. I'll insert a close-up for you guys right here. Don't these look so pretty? I love the wave in them and the bumps. They look like a quilt or something to me. They just look really beautiful in the pan. That's one of the things that most caught my eye. The other thing that most caught my eye is this shade right here. Is a duochrome. Duochromes are a little hard to come by at the drugstore, so I was super excited to see that. They are all shimmers. We'll probably dip into one of the Wet n Wild palettes. In fact, we'll probably just go with this one, the Nude Awakening palette, for some basics, for a transition shade and maybe a deeper shade for my outer corner, but we are going to use this on my eyes. Really quickly, I want to live swatch these. I haven't actually felt these yet. Ooh, very interesting. So here's the duochrome. They're a little bit dry. They feel kind of baked. I also think the name's a little strange. The name of this one is Slight Flex. I feel like that's a weird name. It's almost like if something was named Kinda Pretty or Moderately Shiny, which I feel like with marketing, you gotta kind of sell yourself. Use more positively descriptive words. I feel like that's a little bit of a palette name that doesn't have a lot of self-esteem in itself or something. I just think the word slight on a palette is strange, but I don't know why I'm hung up on that. So here's the other shade below it, that kind of rosy bronze shade. That's really pretty. I will say though, these aren't super reflective. Maybe that's why they named it Slight, because these are slightly reflective. Ooh, look at that shade. That's really beautiful. A little dark, probably not something I'll use often, but that's a beautiful shade. Ooh, like a black and green. Very pretty. And the last one here is that Golden Champagne. This one is probably the least shiny of the bunch, more of a satin. I don't know if you can see that. Not a lot of shine to it. I do want to go back into that first one, the duochrome, and try swatching it with a damp finger. I'm going to try and swatch it above there. I know that's kind of a weird spot on my hand. Okay, I did add a little bit more. Not a ton though. We'll see how they perform on the eyes. I think I'm more excited about the colors of these than the formula of them. They're just not quite as impactful as I would like or as I prefer, but I'll give them a chance first. I'll wait and judge them until they're actually on my eyes. Let's start off by going into my Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette. I'm just going to take the lightest light tan right there and run it through. This is my Rephr number 16. Just really quickly going to add a little bit to my transition area and my outer corner, I think. Let's go now into this shade right here. It's more of a plum. It is a little shimmery. This is more of a satin, but I like the color of this. I think it's going to go with that duochrome really well. So I want to add this to my outer corner, just in circular motions like this, going in about halfway in my socket, but mostly depositing that right along the lash line. And then with what's left, I'm just going to run that under the outer third of my lower lash line. Hopefully that's not too dark. I didn't really want to go super dark today. I'm going to go back to my Rephr number 16. It was kind of my own fault. I just had a little too much on the brush, but I think it's all going to work out. It'll be fine. All right, now let's go back into the Revlon palette. We're going to take this shade right here. I have a damp cotton bud down here, so I'm just going to dampen my finger, then go into the shade, really build it up on my finger, and then tap that all over the lid. Okay, this is looking a whole lot like The Greatest Gift by Sydney Grace, which is one of my favorite Sydney Grace shadows. It actually is more reflective on the eye than I feel like it looked swatched on the hand, so that's a relief. That makes me happy. I was feeling a little underwhelmed as I was swatching these, but the shade, I mean the finish is really nice, but the shade, you guys, this is beautiful. It is like has a little bit of pink, a little bit of purple, a little bit of green. I guess you would call that a trichrome, maybe? Multichrome? Don't know the technical definition, but it is beautiful. All right, let's go back to my NYX highlighter. I want to take that glittery shade and pop that on my inner corner. I'm going to take the Rephr number 3 brush, this little pointy brush right here, and take a little bit of this glittery shade and just add that to that inner tear duct area. That's actually a really pretty eye look. Very simple. That took me just a few seconds to do. You could do the basics in any palette. You don't have to use this palette. You could use any basic palette. You could even just use your bronzer and then add this shade on top. Even this shade right here you could probably use on the outer corner, outer half of your lid. It is shimmery, but it's a little bit more of a satiny shimmer, so I suspect it could work in your outer corner. Let's add a little bit of liner. I'm going to take this Wet n Wild liner, add it to my waterline. I'm going to add a little bit of a wing. Then I'll be back. We're going to break into a new mascara today. All right, time for mascara. Finally got a hold of the Maybelline Sky High mascara. I know there are a lot of people that have been raving about this mascara. It has been a while since I've tried a new Maybelline mascara, but when it comes to drugstore mascaras, especially those OG drugstore brands that have been around for a long time, the mascaras that I was buying before I really got into YouTube and makeup, Maybelline was one of my favorite brands for mascaras. And I am a fan of the original Last Sensational, so I'm excited to try this one out today. We are going to do it on camera. Let me zoom you guys in. I will try my very, very best not to lean forward and stay in focus. So I did already curl my lashes about an hour ago. Let's have a look at the brush here. Oh, interesting. So it's kind of a rubberized brush. It's very narrow, very skinny. Seems to be the same all the way around. Actually, it seems like it might have like a flat side on it. Yeah, I think these two sides are a little bit flatter. Very interesting. This is kind of a different looking brush. All right, we're just gonna go for it. Cross our fingers. So far, this brush reminds me a little bit of the L'Oreal Bambi brush, how it has a little bit of flex in this little joint right here. Not sure how I feel about that. I feel like that's something I need to maybe get used to. Maybe that's the way that new mascaras are going, and it's just different than what I'm used to. I don't know why. I just feel like I can't get as much control because it's too flexible, but they can give me great, long, luscious lashes. I will not hold it against it. Tell you guys, applying mascara without pressing your face into a mirror or even leaning forward a little bit, it's like one of those habits that you just, like making makeup faces that you just can't help. I'm trying so hard not to lean forward. I'm sorry if I keep going out of focus. I have a wonky lash right there. Okay, those are pretty long. There's one coat on that side. Let's dip back in. I feel like that built up pretty quickly. I might go back in and add another coat, at least a light coat on this side, and just see how it builds on itself. I don't always do that. I usually like to put it on pretty thick in one swoop and then just leave it. But some mascaras do build up well with a second coat. Some don't. It depends on the mascara. I would say most don't. Once your mascara dries, usually dipping back in for more, unless you like really clumpy lashes, often does just that. Leads to really clumpy lashes. Seriously feel like without leaning forward, it feels like I'm putting this on with my left hand. Like this is very unnatural for me. Actually, it might be more than I'm trying not to make the makeup face, the mascara face, you know, this face. That's my mascara face. Try not to make it. Alright, so there's one coat on both uppers. I don't want to look up too high because I don't think it's dry yet. I'm going to take what's left on the brush and go into my lower lashes. Add just a little bit. I don't usually like to add too much to my lower lashes. Much more of a light coat on the lower lashes kind of girl. I actually don't like. I like to just apply it to the roots and not all the way to the ends. I do have pretty long lower lashes and I think it can look a little crazy and spidery when I go all the way to my ends, but alright, that looks pretty good. Let's add a little bit more to this side and see. I don't feel like I need it, honestly, but I just want to see what it will do. So let's just put this one, like, do you guys see that eyelash right there that's like going that way? I get these sometimes and they drive me bananas. Sometimes I actually have to go in with like a little tool and get them to like go all the way around so they're facing the right direction. Am I the only one that has this happen? Okay, so there's a subtle second coat on this side. I actually feel like they look great on both sides. I don't think you really need a second coat. One coat is plenty. They are nice and long. I will keep you guys posted on how this one wears. It is later in the day. I mean, we're like 4 o'clock right now, so I probably won't be testing this out today, but I will be sure to come back and update you guys on how this wears, if it flakes, and how it removes. As far as how it looks on my lashes though, really good length, decent volume, good separation, all around a pretty good mascara that I think a lot of people would like. Alright, we're gonna zoom out and finish off with a new lip product that I have to test out. Alright guys, here are the eyes all zoomed out. The shadow looks amazing. The more I analyze this mascara, the more I am impressed with it. My lashes look very good. No clumping, very, very nice and long. Pretty good volume too, really nice and black, which is one of the things I love most about the original Last Sensational. So very excited about that. Again, I will keep you guys posted on how it wears. Let's move into the lips. So I have a new lipstick here. This is just from Maybelline. I'm gonna confess to you guys, I actually already tried this on. I tried it on in the car on the way home. Couldn't help myself. I mean, they're just so easy to open. I will already say I'm slightly disappointed in the finish of this. It says it's a cream finish, but it has quite a bit of shimmer in it. I don't know if you guys can see that. It is super, I mean, it's not glittery, it's just very shimmery. I don't really like shimmery finishes in my lipstick, which is kind of strange because I don't mind a really beautiful, shimmery, even glittery at times, lip gloss. We'll see. I'm gonna give it a chance. Chances are I might actually end up liking this more for my lips than this lipstick right here. But that's okay, we're gonna go for it. First I'm gonna add a little bit of a lip liner. We're gonna take my LA Girl Ultimate Intense Wear Auto Liner. This one's in the shade Nonstop Nude. One of my very favorite drugstore lip liners. I actually might be featuring this lip liner in a affordable alternatives for some of my favorite high-end makeup items video. I still haven't fully planned that video, but this does remind me of one of my very favorite high-end lip liners. Alright, let's add a little bit of that lipstick. So again, this is shade 205, Nearly There. It is a really nice nude. I like the color of it. It's a really kind of beigey nude. It's just so shimmery. I just can't do a shimmer on my lips. I don't know why. I feel like it just does not look good on me. It's okay. I like the color a lot. I don't know if you guys can tell. There's a difference between gloss and shimmer, and I'm not a big fan of shimmer. I just feel like it emphasizes the lines in my lips, which I don't really need something that's going to emphasize lines in my lips. I need something that's going to make them look a little bit younger. But I don't know. Then I kind of scoop back and I think, maybe I like it. Let's try adding a little bit of the plumping balm on top. By the way, update on the plumping lip balm that I put on my cheeks. I never did feel a plumping effect on my cheeks. I'm kind of grateful for that. I was actually a little bit worried and stressed about putting this on my cheeks. I'm still hoping that I don't have some sort of adverse reaction, as in like a breakout, because of whatever it is that is in this that makes it plumping. But so far, so good, and I still think my cheeks look fantastic. I love the way this feels on my lips. I wish it wasn't so big. This is just one of those lip balms that I feel like they've made it the wrong size. This is too big to put in my purse. It's like giant. I mean, compared to like even my NYX Butter Gloss, which is kind of tall, or even a traditional lipstick, or even like this one right here. I usually like my lip balms more traditional size like this, like a chapstick, you know? And with that, that is it for my trying some random products from the drugstore video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I was very impressed with most of the stuff that I tried today. The eyes look beautiful. I doubt that I'll reach for this palette much for these shades right here, but if you're looking for a good duochrome from the drugstore, this shade is very, very special, especially for something that is affordable at the drugstore, very accessible to most people. I'm sure a lot of drugstores have Revlon in them. And I do think it's really beautiful on the eyes. One of the surprise winners from today has got to be from Hard Candy. This lip balm is beautiful. I think it looks gorgeous on the cheeks. My cheeks look so dewy right now. I don't know how long wearing it's going to be, but I'm okay with that. I mean, if it's going to give me a good 5 or 6 hours of nice, dewy, juicy cheeks with just the right amount of color to them, I'm okay with that. And I love how it is on my lips. Very, very beautiful product. If you don't mind that very subtle tingling sensation on your lips, it does give you a little bit of that, but I'm very impressed with that. Love the shade as well. I don't think I told you guys the shade. This one is in Colossal Caramel. The mascara, I have very high hopes for this. My lashes look really, really good. Very impressed with this. Super nice and rich and dark and black. Really good separation, no clumping whatsoever. I have a feeling that's going to be a new drugstore favorite. Also very excited about the clear brow gel. My brows look really good today. I mean, it really kept them upright. They don't look wet and they don't feel crispy, but they're staying in place very well. So I have very high hopes for this as well. I will keep you guys posted on that one. As for the ones I'd probably skip over, I'm going to say the Born to Glow highlighter. It's not a bad highlighter, but I'll be honest, I probably won't use this glittery shade right here other than just on my eyes. But why would I spend $12 on a giant shade of eyeshadow that I probably already have throughout my collection? I know I have other drugstore highlighters that I like just as much, if not better, and that $12 price tag, you guys, I mean, this one I feel like was doomed from the beginning when I saw that sticker price. Doesn't it baffle you guys that NYX can sell a fantastic lip gloss for $5, and then they have stuff that's like $12 or $13 or $14 or $15 that are eyeshadows, by the way, like 20 bucks. Very big range in pricing there, NYX. I also am a little disappointed in the Maybelline lipstick. There were actually a couple shades I was going back and forth between. So hard to tell in the store what the shades are going to be like. I mean, you can't open the products. You don't want to, well, you shouldn't open the products. So you're kind of just going off that little fake lipstick that sits there in front of the Maybelline ones, which, by the way, I generally appreciate that Maybelline does that, because when you can't swatch, that's probably the next best option. But didn't know this one had shimmer in it. I know I would like it a lot more if it didn't have the shimmer. I love the shade. I just am not a big fan of the shimmer. But that is it. I think that was everything I tried. I'd love to hear from you guys if you guys have tried any of these products out. Maybe you had a different experience with them, or maybe you have some thoughts to add. Please add those down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I really appreciate you guys spending your time with me. I hope that you guys are doing well. Let me remind you one more time, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please be sure to do that right now before you leave. It's very easy. Just click that red button down below. But that is it for today. Thanks again, you guys. I will see you in my next one. Bye. That's probably the next specs. That's probably the next specs. I need a script for my closing. I feel like I say thank you at least 4 times in pretty much every closing. I need like a script. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for coming by. Please be sure to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye.